I started to wonder, and I wondered, which led me to wonder. I had to wonder. I started to wonder. I couldn't help but 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 wonder.
What the fuck is up, gamers? We're back after a while, and we are back to talk about Sex and the City again. I'm your host, Stephanie, and I fucking hate Paris.
I'm Alex, and do people still do coke?
Great question. And turns out, like, that was a question Carrie was asking in, like, 2004. They still do coke in 2020, so timeless, I guess.
People still, it's a timeless drug. I will say that. Not going to hand it to cocaine, but I will say it's rather timeless. I don't think it goes out of fashion. It's not like ecstasy. Like, if someone put out a fucking ecstasy pill now, I'd be like, come on. Like, it's 2020.
But what do you do?
Yeah, like, come on, let's do something better. Let's do some cat. Like, grow up.
I mean,
coke is timeless.
I will say that if someone was going to offer me hard drugs and they gave me an option of a bunch of different ones, cocaine is probably one of the first ones I would do out of, like, a bunch of them.
Yeah,
so
it has a chicness to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's also not, like, injected. So that kind of is a bonus to me, I guess. But, you know.
True.
There is just something timeless about snorting something. Like, I will say that my PI in grad school, she got me really into snuff. I should explain to people who are like, because North Americans don't know what that is normally, but like, she would always have us over for parties at her house. She was our supervisor, and like twice a year, she would have us over for parties where we'd have like a bunch of alcohol, and she'd just be like, who wants to snort tobacco? And I'd be like, all right, I'll try this. And she would just get out her tiny little spoon to put the snuff on your hand, and she'd be like, enjoy. Thanks.
I like the idea of someone listening to this and being like, Stephanie watches snuff films?
Yeah, I really hope people are not taking that away from it. Please just think of snuff in terms of the stuff you snort, and not in terms of the, you know, I don't even want to call it film, media, snuff media.
Movie. Flick. I was also going to say, you know, in Cruel Intentions, where Sarah Michelle Gellar's character has that, like, rosary bead coke necklace. That film, I watched it way too young. I have never done cocaine, but, like, I would if someone gave it to me in a rosary bead necklace with a secret compartment full of cocaine that I can do at my stepbrother's, like, funeral. Like,
it is just kind of like the aesthetic of it is kind of neat.
Yeah, I don't really. We're not promoting drugs, and I don't. No, like, obviously, if you want to do it, that's cool. Like, we're also not gonna look down on anyone that does do drugs. We're not trying to. We're neutral, drug neutral show. However, I will say aesthetically, if they made like a non-coke coke, like something you could just snort, but it didn't have any drugs in it and was not addictive. Yeah, I would be on it. Be fucking on it. Like, like e-cigarettes just for cocaine.
Like, I don't know. It's just kind of fun. It's kind of just like how smoking is fun. Like, objectively, it's just like a good activity to do with your hand and your mouth. That sounds weird, but like, it just is a soothing activity to do. It's a shame that it's not good for you, because it's just nice. It's relaxing. But
exactly. Anyway.
Sex and the City. God, this is what happens, like, when we don't record for a while. This is what No Pissy does to an MF. We start talking about drugs and fucking smoking. But we should be talking about Sex and the City, because we're almost finished the show. This is the third last episode of the show.
It's mad.
It's called Splat. Season 6, episode 18. This is a fucking classic episode. Like, this is one of the episodes Matt knew about before watching any of the show with me. And he was kind of surprised. Like, he thought this was actually, like, the finale of the show. And I'm like, no, there's still 2 episodes after this. It's just close to the end. I thought it was way earlier in the show. I totally forgot we still hadn't gotten to this yet. But
I know. I thought it was way earlier. I forgot that it was on this late. But, like, yeah, she is with Petrovsky. And, like, it's just...
Yeah. And there's
if you don't like the word iconic, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to use it a lot.
But it is, like, this episode is a real standout episode of... I don't even want to say standout, like it's just like a really good episode. It's just like a really memorable episode of this show. Like it's an episode of this show that you kind of end up talking about for a long time after the show's over. And like we'll get to it when we get to like the big moment of the episode, but I linked an interview in the Discord like last week when I watched the episode about like why they made the choice to do this. And it makes sense now that I'm like, oh yeah, of course it's near the end of the series based off of this. But like, I don't know, I was just like, they just did that. It was just it's just a choice they made for an episode in hindsight. But no, there's a reason.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it when we get to it. I guess we might as well start. So Carrie is going to meet Enid, her boss at Vogue, for lunch, I guess. Like, Carrie has barely been talking about working for Vogue. So I don't know. I guess, I don't know if she's like a regular there or whatever, but yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that she's there at all. And like later in this episode, there's like talks of her being like, yeah, I quit my job. But it's like, you have 2 jobs. Did you quit both of them or just one of them? Because there's, I don't know.
Like, I don't understand. But yeah, there's Enid invites Carrie to an art party for New York's little glitterati.
Some couple that makes like documentary films, and the reason why she does this is because she's like, oh, I know you and Petrovsky are together. I was wondering if he has any single friends that I could go with, because it's like a lot of people are going as couples. I don't want to be there alone, especially since like I think she's hosting it. Like I think it's at her apartment.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because like she's like I didn't realize she was hosting it. It felt more like it was an event she had to go to, and she knew that everyone would be there in couples. But like, I don't know, could she not have invited more single people? It's her party.
Yeah, you would have thought so. Maybe it's just like the crowd that she was inviting is like all the people who knew each other were couples. I have no idea. But like it's also weird given like the Lexi person being invited also. I have no idea what was going on here, but yeah, but she basically invites Carrie, and Carrie tries to be kind of like, well, I don't know, Petrovsky doesn't really seem like the kind of guy who like sets people up, and Enid's just like, I got you a job, you get me a man. And it's just like very matter of fact, like normal thing to ask your subordinate.
Yeah, exactly, no pressure. And then Enid wants to order a Dorado, which is like some fish dish, and the only way they serve it is in like a big enough portion for 2, like it's a sharing portion. And Carrie's like, oh, okay, well, I'll have it too. And Enid's like, don't have pity Dorado for me. Don't eat this just because you pity me because I'm single. And it's like, it's intense. It's a lot.
It's really wild that, like, she's so insecure about this when you can tell she's such a successful woman. And I know that's part of it. Like, part of it is like, oh, even if you are really successful, you still do have insecurities. But it's just very, like, I don't know. Like, it's believable, I guess. But it's, like, just not that interesting to me. And she also is just like, you cannot repeat this conversation to anyone at Condé Nast. And I'm just like, oh, boy.
Never repeat this to anyone at Condé Nast. Everyone else is fine though. Just specifically people that work for Condé Nast, which is a big corporation.
Yeah, it is pretty big. But yeah, so then we see Carrie and Petrovsky like making dinner, and she's asking him about single male friends, and he's like, oh, I have one, and they kind of like joke about it a little bit. I'm kind of surprised that he even had someone to offer in the city, because he's like, I don't have any friends here, but I only have my lover and all that bullshit and stuff. But like, but this is where we find out that he's going to Paris because he has like an opening in Paris, and he says he might not be coming back.
Yeah, he's like, I may not be coming back. I have to go to Paris, and like he invites her to stay with him, and Carrie's like, oh, for like a few weeks. Like she says that she's gonna go for like the opening of his show and stay for maybe like another week or something, and then go back. And he's like, no, I want you to stay with me for however long I'm out there.
Mm-hmm. Which is a big thing to broach with someone that you're like, they've been dating for a while now, but it's still very like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, moving in with someone is a big step.
It is.
And, like, every time we've seen Carrie, she's mostly been at his place anyway, so I guess they, like, unofficially moved in.
Uh-huh.
But also, going to another country with someone is also a massive step.
I feel like the thing that kind of is weird to me about this is it's not like he's saying, I have this decision to make. I really am done with New York, but I still want to be with you. I think I want to move to Paris permanently, and I'd like you to come with me. He's not asking if he should do it. He's just like, I'm moving to Paris. And if you want to still be with me, and I'd still like you to be with me, then you have to move too. And it's like, there was never any discussion about it as a thing.
Yeah, like, I guess because I don't know. I mean, I was in kind of a similar situation where, like, I was going out with someone who knew they had to move.
Yeah.
And we both knew they had to move. And it sucked. And I guess, like, Petrovsky knows he has to move.
But he doesn't necessarily
like
have to. It's not like someone saying, like, well, you have to go home now because, well, not even home, I guess, but like, oh, like, it's not so much that, I don't know.
I feel like he's going because, like, he's staying, he obviously has to go for the show,
yes,
right?
Of
And
course.
stay there for a bit for that. Yeah. And then I guess, yeah, he is planning to stay there. But this is the other thing, is he's not just saying, like, oh, I'm going to go to Paris and I'm going to move there.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I guess I'll just go to Paris for like however long, which is not a period of time. Even if he said, I'm going to Paris for 6 months while I have the exhibition.
Yeah.
And while I do like press and stuff, and I'll see some of my friends and blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'll take a trip around Europe. Like, he's just going for an indefinite period of time.
Yes.
Which is different to saying, oh, I'm going to move there permanently, or I'm going to be there for X months or whatever. Yeah. Like, which is weird.
It is weird. It does kind of make sense for his character, but it's also very like, I mean, it also make kind of like, I think he's mentioned before that his daughter lives in Paris, so I guess it does seem a little bit more permanent. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be permanent, but it seems more permanent than like going there and then moving around a bit. But like, the other thing is like, he also says like he's done with New York. It's not so much just like, it's not like, oh, maybe I'll go for a year, then come back. It's like, this is pretty much it for New York. That's a big part of it.
He's pretty much like, I am never coming back, which is, it's a lot for us to deal with.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're at a stage in their relationship where you kind of do make big decisions together when, like, she's basically living there. Like, they've had a lot of, I don't know, they've gotten, like, very, very intimate at this point, where it does seem weird to just make that call and then just tell her I'm moving. But, like, he does give her the choice of, are you going to come with me? It's not like he's saying, you have to come with me. But it's very like, well, if we're going to stay together, then you do have to come with me. And it's like, oh, okay. Because it's a big choice when you're, I mean, Carrie loves New York more than anything, more than big. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I get well, New York is the fifth character, really, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Stanford Stanford can die. Like, New York is the fifth main character. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot. Also, he tells her this like right before a dinner party with all her friends.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a lot. I feel like, yeah, this is a discussion. If they're doing it, because he's bringing it to her as like, we are a couple, so we make couple decisions. Are we going to stay together or not?
Yeah.
Cool. But like, I don't know. Like, maybe don't do that right before all her friends are coming, and then she has to think about that. Like, you would tell her and give her like a period of time to think about it, and then come back to him and have a bit more of a discussion. But no.
Yeah, there's like no time to think about it. And then like on top of that, in the next scene in the dinner party, he mentions it to everyone before she's even agreed to move with him. And it's like, oh, this is awkward. Okay, we're doing this.
Yeah. So like, it's a dinner party of everyone, basically.
It's all the characters.
It's all the characters.
Except Anthony.
It's the girls, their partners, Stanford and Marcus. So it is everyone, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's so awkward. Like, it's so uncomfortable because Samantha is being Samantha, and she starts talking about how she thinks her maid is using her vibrator, and everyone's like laughing along, going, oh, Samantha, isn't she funny? And then Petrovsky is just at the end of the table looking like, I don't know, a gargoyle. Yeah,
he's just so serious, and it stresses me out. I'm just like, enjoy your company. This is so awkward. Like, at least pretend to laugh at stuff that you think, like, even if you don't think it's funny, like, entertain your friends. Like, I don't know, it's not that hard to do, but maybe I'm just super self-conscious about how I come off to other people. Maybe it's because I'm a woman, but like, you don't want to come off as being super cold to your guests that you're hosting. But yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, because you'll be called a bitch.
Yeah, he doesn't laugh or anything, and neither does Carrie, which like Miranda brings up later. And I'm like, you know, she is kind of right about that. But then Steve is just like, oh, you got a piano over there, huh? Can you play any Billy Joel? And Petrovsky's like, who emoji? Just so funny to me.
And everyone's like naming Billy Joel songs, and he's like, what?
I mean, it is a little bananas to me that he doesn't know like Piano Man, but like, it's not like I'm even like, oh, Billy Joel is amazing. It's just like, I'm surprised because he is like a man of arts. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Billy Joel, art, Uptown Girl, fucking Sweet Caroline Billy Joel, and like We Didn't Start the Fire.
Know. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. We Didn't Start the Fire definitely is. Billy Joel, most iconically to me, was the did the music in Oliver and Company, like Why Should I Worry, which is possibly my favorite Disney musical song of all time. Like, not to be a Disney person because I'm not, but like that song goes fucking off. I love it. Like, thanks, Billy Joel. You did one thing that was really great for humanity, and it was that.
All right, Sweet Caroline was Neil Diamond, but also I've been watching The Boys recently on Amazon Prime. Don't at me. My parents already had it.
Yeah, I'm
just utilizing it. And also I get it free, like, because I'm a student, I get it for free now. But, like, I'm not going to I don't think I'll use the delivery thing unless I absolutely have to. But, like, hey, free movies. Anyway, so I was watching The Boys, and, like, the main character in that is, for some reason, a massive Billy Joel fan, which I feel like is a better thing to be than, like, a Beatles fan. But,
oh, yeah.
I don't know, if you're into... You're always, like, a little bit sus if you're into, like, some, like, classic rock shit. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, if you're gonna listen to an artist from, like, the 80s or whenever the fuck Billy Joel was a thing, like, who plays the piano, at least listen to Elton John. Like,
exactly,
like,
with a bit of flavor.
Yeah, like that's the ultimate choice. Like, I don't, like, not to diss Billy Joel because I don't really know shit about him aside from the fact that I always picture him to look like Billy Crystal. I just conflate them in my head. But like, I just like, sure, he seems more talented than a lot of other musicians from a long time ago, but it's just like, really, like, there's not anything else that does it more for you than this. Okay,
I don't know. Like, all the 80s music there is, you're going to choose Billy Joel?
Like, he doesn't even use synths. Like, what?
Exact. Peter Gabriel is standing, like, right there. Grow up.
He's right there. I don't understand. Whatever.
No.
But
Anyway. My favorite thing is when Petrovsky like says he doesn't like he's like, oh, I'm moving to Paris. I don't know why I'm doing a French accent. He's Russian. But it's like, oh, we're moving to Paris, and then I think one of them is like, well, Paris sucks, and then he's like, Paris is the most beautiful city in the world.
He's wrong. He's fucking stupid.
He's fucking stupid. And Steve is like, you're talking to New Yorkers here.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's very funny. It's like, okay, you're wrong. I was watching, last night I was watching the YouTube record, or it's not a YouTube recording, but like on YouTube, they have the recording of like the 90, I think it's the 93 Alan Cumming version of Cabaret. And I was just watching it because I'm like, Cabaret slaps and Alan Cumming is great. But there's the part at the end where Sally is like, he like, whatever the fuck the main guy's name is like, come to Paris with me, like leave Germany, this place sucks shit, because he's right. But then she's like, I've never liked Paris much. And I'm just like, go off. You're so right. Like, maybe you should be like a little bit less indifferent about the political situation, but like, go off about Paris being wrong. You're right.
It's like, okay, all right, maybe you go to Paris and then go immediately to London. Like,
just go somewhere else.
Just go somewhere
maybe
not Germany, or like just leave Europe. Just maybe just go to America. Like, just leave Europe for the next like 20 years or so.
Yeah. I didn't know until like yesterday that the woman that Sally Bowles is based off of was like a huge communist. I did not know this until yesterday. Big fan of that.
Yeah, she's like a huge communist. I don't know, I don't think she would be as flippant about the political situation.
Oh yeah, she hated the character that was based off of her because she was like, I'm a huge communist, I would never do this. So she didn't like it at all. Which I thought was really good. Even though I do like appreciate her character. I'm like, yeah, I
love Cabaret. We're the big fans of Cabaret, but like maybe not that. God. Yeah. I just remembered, I was just thinking about it, and like there was a massive sale today, and I probably should have bought myself a little black waistcoat just so I can. Then I could have been Sally Bowles for Halloween.
Oh,
I'll consider it.
You should.
But, yeah,
I can you be Sally and I'll be the MC. We could do that.
Yes, money. No, this bit reminded me of when my ex was like, I was in bed with him and we literally just had sex, and he was like, I fucking hate London. Like, I hate London. I hate it here. I hate like the people here are horrible. Everything is disgusting. I hate it here and I want to leave. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, bud, even if I do agree with you, that's just a lot to unpack at this exact moment. Like,
yeah, also, like, everyone I've ever met who's, like, lived in New York for a period of time is like, New York's the best city in the world. Like, I don't know. It doesn't have a working fucking transit system. Shut up.
Yeah, no kidding. But go off. Yeah, Petrovsky just... Yeah, this is really where they're kind of like, wait, Carrie's going with you to live in Paris? Like, as in moving away from New York? And Carrie's like, whoa. I haven't decided that yet. Why are you telling everybody this? We just talked about this like 2 hours ago, and you're bringing this up to every single person I know at dinner.
Yeah.
It's very awkward.
He just, like, generally seems kind of controlling. Not in an overt way, just in a, like, her behavior has changed around him.
Yeah, it's...
In a way that's not, like, normal when you're around your significant other. Like,
yeah.
There is a bit of behavior change, but, like, it's pretty significant. Like, Carrie is not the kind of girl she is with him.
It's true, and it's really, like... I don't know, she kind of just seems like this with every partner she has. Like, I feel like she kind of just molds to kind of fit their personality and interests. like, it's not like she just picks up everything that they do and likes to do it. Like, obviously she hated Aiden's cabin, but like, I don't know. I do feel like she kind of just goes with whatever, and her personality changes, and it's like, you know, you can still like be yourself, but she has like no sense of humor when she's with the Russian. So
yeah, which like I don't know, maybe I guess there's a kind of Russian stereotype that like they're not funny, which I don't think is true.
No,
but he's not fun. It's not like Big is fun, at least. They really, I will applaud the writers for making me want to see Big again. In a way, like they make the Russian, he gets worse, but they make him so bad that when you see Big again, you're like, oh, thank God, forgot all the other fucking trauma he put everyone through during the last 6 seasons. But finally, she's away from the boring fucking abusive asshole.
Yeah, well, it's like he's. Like, I don't know, he's not fun at all, which obviously, like, relationships don't, I was gonna say relationships don't have to be fun, but, like, they really should be kind of fun. But, like, he's so serious. Like, I get the appeal of the, like, romantic partner, like, the romantic man who is intimate with you in ways that Big hasn't been. But, like, you need, like, more than that. You can't just have someone who does very romantic gestures to you. You need to have something else going in your relationship other than that. And I don't think they have that, really. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't really have anything more than just, like, wanting to fuck each other, which is great, but it's not the foundation of a healthy relationship.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Big and Carrie don't have a lot going either, but, like, they do have the kind of, I don't know if I want to say, like, banter. Like, they kind of, like, their personalities are both terrible, so they kind of complement each other in similar ways. Whereas, like, the Russian and Carrie are terrible in different ways.
Yeah, it's kind of like a base and an acid. Right?
They neutralize each other.
If you put orange into milk, you get water.
That is the chemical reaction that happens. You get water. It's incredible. It's like that's what Jesus did. It was like to make wine. He just like did some acid-based titration, and he was like, "Presto! I made some wine." It's very good.
I would love to see Jesus do that. He's just like, boom, like he turned water into wine. I mean, technically, like, if you water a grapevine, then it makes grapes. You can turn the grapes into wine.
This is a good point. I would love to have Jesus as a student in one of my chemistry. Like, I don't even do chemistry labs anymore, but I used to be a TA. And, like, I would love to have him in my labs and be like, you are not wearing the correct footwear. You need closed-toed shoes. And
please tie your hair back.
Yes, please tie your hair back. And safety glasses. And,
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you need... What if you had, like, gloves on, but then the stigmata, like, through the gloves?
You'd have to get a kind of glove that's just, like, not blood permeable, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of gloves are good for that, but...
I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, I guess, like... Oh, and he's also says, like, they're not sculptures. They're light installations with video, like... Because that's it. So Charlotte, who obviously like knows art, asks him about his pieces, and she goes, "Oh, how are the sculptures doing?" And he's like, "They're not sculptures." And Carrie goes, "They're large light installations accompanied with video projection." And everyone is just like, oh my God, this fucking asshole.
I hate this so much. Like, I don't, like, maybe if I saw it, I would think, like, that's cool. But, like, don't be a fucking jackass about what they're technically called. Like, just answer the question, you bitch. Like, just answer it.
Yeah. It's so funny. Again, my artist X has been posting, like, his paintings on Instagram with these, like, fucking paragraphs of like shit that doesn't make sense, and I've been sending it to my friends, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because I would ask him about them. I'd be like, oh, what's this? And he'd be like, oh, it's just inspired by like this thing I saw, and I used like acrylics, and yeah, like he'd just say that, and then he's got these like long-winded paragraphs, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about the one that I read that like was so long and convoluted that I had to like sit down in the park to read it instead of just like walking and reading on my phone. And then I got to the end of it and there was the word burrito in it. And I was like, I thought this was like really deep, but then you're talking about burritos, which like, I guess burritos are deep, but like, I was like, this is so many words to write at once. I think Noah even referred to it as like something Rose Lalonde would write. So like, yeah, it was a lot.
Like, it's a lot. Like I'm not talking shit about him. I'm just saying artists are pretentious. They have to be.
Yeah.
Because, I asked him to his face, like, multiple times about his different paintings. And he's like, oh, I was traveling and I saw this thing and I thought it was cool. So it kind of came to me and, like, I just throw stuff on a fucking canvas. And I'm like, that's cool.
All right.
Anyway, there are multiple of those. They're great. They're like my morning fucking workout. Is reading through them.
Oh, that's a lot. I hate to read in the morning. It's just like, I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is look and see if I got emails. And like, even that's too much for me to read in the morning. Like, I could not read someone's Instagram pros in the morning. Like, I don't know.
Every day I get emails.
Yes, literally. Every day I get these Instagram fucking posts. So Carrie and the girls like go upstairs later to like talk in the bedroom or whatever about the Paris stuff, and they're all asking her like 10,000 questions, and then like Stanford comes in and is like, I cannot pretend to be one of the boys any longer. Please let me in here. And it's a lot. But I don't blame them for having a lot of questions, but like it's overwhelming. Like, Christ.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. Like, they're like, where are you going to go? Where are you going to do? And it's all questions she'd think of herself. Like, she's an adult. Like, what are you going to do for work? And blah, 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 and this and that. But I don't blame her for being overwhelmed by it. So,
yeah.
Then the next scene is basically, like, everyone's gone, just Carrie and Alex, and, they discuss Paris, and he's like, look, you can live with me. I think he's going to be, like, staying in a hotel while his apartment is renovated. Like,
yeah.
He has loads of money, which he's not doing anything with. So he would just pay the rent in her apartment indefinitely.
Yeah. And this is the point where I'd be like, well, okay, well, like, I could move with you there, but, like, what if we had an arrangement where I came back to New York, like, once a month? Because clearly you can afford that, and then I could still see my friends and, like, keep in touch with everybody and not be, like, totally uprooted and stuff like that, which probably would be something he would do. But, like, she never even asks him that or anything. She's just like, would I have to speak French?
Do I have to speak French? Like, yeah, okay. Also, I fucking hate rich people. Like, let me leave my apartment, like, completely empty while I, like, fucking gallop around France.
I hate it. If it was 2020, she'd be turning her apartment into an Airbnb, and I would kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really annoying, but... yeah, like, he just seems to have solutions for everything that only a rich person could have. And, like, she also just has questions he can't answer. Like, what if maybe it's only a year? Like, do you know anything? And he's just like, I don't have the answers to all of these questions. Like, I don't know. It could be a year. It could be longer than that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's moving. It's not, like, just visiting. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who fucking knows? So then we go to brunch. Oh, it's a short brunch. I love it. The girls are back to asking questions to Carrie, and she gets kind of mad. She's like, none of you are happy for me. You're all just asking me questions. Like, no one's happy for me. You're all just, like, accusing me. You're all mad. You don't like him. And she storms off the drama.
She has, like, I feel like Miranda's the only one who outright sounds annoyed about it. Like, I honestly felt like Charlotte sounded kind of excited for her. Like, oh, where are you gonna live in Paris? Not like, where are you gonna live in Paris? Like, she was asking kind of more excitedly than annoyed. Like, you could tell Miranda's annoyed, but like...
Yeah, it's basically... Miranda seems to be the only one actually annoyed. Like...
Yeah. Like, the other ones are, of course, like, we want to still see you, so it's hard, but...
Exactly. Like, the other two are, like, happy for her and also sad they'll be losing their friend.
Yeah.
But it's Miranda that's, like, actually annoyed. So Carrie storms off, and then Samantha's like, so does anyone want to talk about my cancer?
She does say that, and I'm just like, queen. She, again, like, we haven't mentioned it, but, like, throughout the last few episodes, she is still... rotating wigs like every single scene. Like she has a new one constantly, and it's incredible. It's so good.
She has a new wig every scene. I can only aspire. Like if I wore wigs, I would just embrace it and be like, yep, new wig, different me. Who it is?
It's good. She just can be all these different people at once. It's amazing. Carrie is like, it's time to ask your question. Because she keeps getting asked questions. And so her question, which would be kind of more on the nose if this was like the final episode of the series and not the third last episode of the series, although maybe this is her last question, I don't know.
I looked at the IMDb trivia. It's the last question, and I think it's the last time she's seen writing until like the end, the very last episode.
Okay.
So it's her last question.
Okay. And her last question is it time to stop questioning?
Good question. Great point, Diane. Thank you very much. Yeah. Period. And also she like
deletes the question mark.
I have in my notes, I have period. Because she gets rid of the question mark and puts a full stop.
Yeah.
Or a period. And it makes you think.
It's really funny because she's still asking a question. She's just disguising it like she's not. Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's not grammatically correct.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know, like, there's no answer to this question. Like, what do you even mean? Like, other people are asking you questions. I guess she's asking herself a bunch of questions like, should I move? I guess that's one question. But, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a pretty big question, that as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's so stupid. Like, it's so dumb. The way she's like, are there too many questions? Like, that's a question.
Yeah, it is. But, you know, it's Carrie. And no thoughts had empty.
Yeah, she somehow has a career as a writer, even though she's kind of dumb.
I mean, anyone can write something. Hank Green's a writer, technically. Like, there's all kinds of people who get published who are like, Ernest Cline, he's published. All right. Fucking idiot. Published. You know.
I went on a date with a guy who knew, like, Ernest Cline's son or something.
Ernest Cline fucked? That's so unfortunate.
I know. It's sad. But, alas.
I'm not surprised, but that's disgusting. We go next to Harry and Charlotte, and they're just, like, watching something on TV, and they have the dog, Elizabeth Taylor, with them, and Harry's just like, someone's getting a little chunky, and, like, Charlotte thinks it's about her at first, but he's talking about the dog, who's gained 4 pounds, that's, like, half her original weight, because she used to weigh 8 pounds, apparently. So, she's pulling a real Nanu here.
She's getting a bit chunky. So but, like, I don't know. As long as it's not, like, impacting her health, I don't think it matters if your dog's a bit curvy. But Charlotte takes her to go get diet dog food. And the fucking pet store owner, or, like, the pet store, like, a sales assistant, I guess, like, is like, oh, she's so cute, can I hold her? And immediately he is like, oh, she's pregnant. Like, she's not she's not fat, she's pregnant. So I guess he just felt the fucking puppies in her tummy. Like, it's weird as... But then Charlotte couldn't, and she was holding her the whole way there.
Maybe the store guy is just more familiar with pregnant dogs. I have no idea. I don't know. It's a very weird thing to think about. Charlotte's also just dumb. I'm also just thinking about how, like, I don't know, I feel like we've had fat cats before when I was growing up where, like, we don't buy them diet food. Well, you might buy them a slightly healthier food, but instead of just calling it diet food, it's like you buy them healthier food and you feed them less of it. Like, you cut the portions down usually for animals if you want them to lose weight. But, like, she's straight up just like, you're going on a diet. Like...
Yeah, also as a dog, so, like, maybe just take her for a walk.
It really doesn't matter. I mean, I guess, like, I don't even know. Maybe, like, dog shows care about that if she wants to put it in more dog shows, but, like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Who cares?
But she freaks out about it like it's this huge deal, and I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, well, she's upset because, obviously, Charlotte's been struggling with infertility, and she's like, everyone is pregnant but her, including the dog. I understand that. I don't understand why she's shocked the dog is pregnant, considering the last time we saw the dog, she was getting gangbanged.
Literally, after that happened, if I was Charlotte, I would have been freaking out like, oh my god, we're gonna have puppies. We're gonna have puppies. My dog is in heat and just got fucked by a bunch of other dogs. We're gonna have a bunch of puppies. But she doesn't even think about it. She's just like, oh no, my poor girl. But, like, what do you think was gonna happen?
Yeah. Like... I don't know, if I had a gangbang during my fertile window, I'd probably be like, well, guess I'm pregnant. Or I should at least take a test, perhaps.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, like, take a test. Maybe, like, if you, maybe take, like, an STI test if you're gonna have sex with a lot of people at the same time that you don't previously know, like the dog did. Obviously, you can't give a dog an STI test, but I mean, if you're a human... like,
you want to have a doggy abortion? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was saying you need to get, like... If you're gonna have sex with a bunch of people that you haven't previously, like, met or had sex with before all at the same time, it's probably a good idea to have a test afterwards, just to make sure that, like, you're like, good for your next partner.
Yeah, that's
all
true.
I was saying.
I'm probably not going to have a gangbang anytime soon, just because of the whole pandemic situation, but...
Yeah, that's a real limiter. Yeah.
Yeah. When I do, I'll be safe.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll be a lot safer than Elizabeth Taylor was. So, because there's no such thing as dog condoms, so, you know.
No. Or dog pulling out.
Not on purpose, at least. I don't think. God, we're getting really dangerously close to the banned word that Matt loves to say.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. Anyway, let's move on. So Sam and Carrie are in a bookshop. Sam has a very cute, like, little Spock, like, Leslie Caron wig on, which I was obsessed with.
Oh, it's so good. She looks so good.
Mm-hmm. And Carrie is upset because she's like, oh, no one's happy for me. And Samantha's like, I am. And then Carrie, like, more specifically, is worried that Miranda doesn't like Petrovsky. And Samantha is like, why do you care? Like, Miranda's not the one dating him. And if you're leaving, like, you don't need to see... Obviously, you can still speak to Miranda, but, like, it's not like she'll be in your relationship or seeing you a lot, so...
Yeah, and she's also like, he hasn't really gotten to know her, like...
Yeah.
Like, maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say you don't like someone that you don't know very well. I mean, it definitely is possible, but, like, you know, they haven't really gotten to know him. Yeah.
No, they've only met, like, a couple times, like, it's not...
Yeah.
That big of a deal.
Although Carrie does mention, like, she hasn't even tried to get to know him. Like, normally when there's a new guy, if she meets him, she has, like, a million questions for him. And she didn't really ask him anything at the dinner party. Like, it was... She just doesn't give off the vibes that she likes him very much. And, yeah, but Samantha's kind of just like, it's fine. It doesn't matter. And she also kind of reminds Carrie, like, if you move to Paris, it's not just on his terms. Like... you get to call the shots too. Like if there's like certain things like you want to come back to New York, or if you want to have friends visiting you and stuff like that. And she's right. Like it's not just Petrovsky's call. Like they're a couple.
Especially because Carrie is giving up a lot more than he is. Like he can pick up his work pretty much anywhere. And Carrie, and he can also speak French. Carrie can't. So Carrie isn't going to be able to really work because she can't speak the language there.
You can't do anything. And,
yeah, she can't do anything. She's not going to have any friends. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, and like obviously you don't need to work to be fulfilled or anything like that. She definitely doesn't need to have to work, but it is a big jump to move to a new country with someone that you're dating and not have some kind of backup situation. Like if they break up, what is she gonna, like she doesn't have anywhere to stay. She doesn't have any of her own support at that point. Like obviously she has friends who could probably help her out and stuff, but it is a big jump to lose a lot of independence with someone where they have a lot more control over everything. So like if they break up, he has a way more stable situation.
Exactly. And like she wouldn't have any financial independence apart from the money that she already had saved and any sort of royalties from her book. Because she'd have no financial independence if she wanted to buy stuff, because we know women be shopping. All has to be on his card, like on his money. Basically, she can only spend his money, which is a lot. Like that is a lot of pressure, and that can obviously, like, financial abuse is a thing. That's not really a good idea to just be dependent on him.
Yeah, it could be
Carrie's
like,
bag either. Like,
it could totally work out, but like, it is hard to lose that many aspects of control at one time. Especially the language thing. That's huge.
That's a huge thing. It's not like she's moving somewhere and like she doesn't have friends, but like she can pick up work and probably meet people there and have her own money. Or it's not like, oh, she gives up her job but she still has her friends. It's everything, and also you can't speak the language. Like I guess she could pick it up, but
and like I bet all his friends are super pretentious and just assholes,
and would only speak in French around her, and then be like, 100% they would just speak in French around her, and then she doesn't know what the fuck they're saying and has to just like stare blankly off in the distance and get drunk.
Oh, totally. And like there's loads of people in Paris who speak French. Like she could easily not pick up French and still go to cafes and shit and speak English and like get stuff like that.
But especially
that's possible, but she
it's
can't
possible,
get a
but
job.
Like no shade to French people. They kind of are. They like speaking French.
Oh yeah, no, and like I get it. Like if you're in their country, like I'd be kind of pissed off if I was like French and someone comes in and they're just like, "Hi, can I get an Americano?" And you're just like, "Oh, sacre bleu" or something, whatever the fuck. They're very like that in Quebec too. Like if you go to Quebec City. I mean, I don't know. I've been to Quebec City and I've like tried my best to use my shitty French, and they'll often just speak English back to me because they know that my French is not amazing, and like you can get by. Like she can get by. She just can't actually hold a job or anything because she can't speak the language. But
yeah, like not to be a dumb like non-Canadian, but whenever I hear about like people in Quebec and, you know, like French Canada being like, we are French, I'm like, no, you're not. You're in Canada, idiot.
It's really interesting from inside of Canada.
There's a whole ocean separating you. Like, you're not French.
It's it's very strange because I guess it's not so much about like being French. It's about like the culture of Quebec. It's a whole thing, but it's very like, it's a very different from being anywhere else in Canada. I will say that because I've been to Montreal quite a few times because my ex lives there and I visited a lot. And you can totally live in Montreal, by the way, without speaking like any French, like because McGill's there and it's like an all English university and like loads of people there just speak English all the time. So it's completely fine. But it's more like when you go into the smaller towns where a lot of people just straight up don't speak English. And if you speak English there, they're like, fuck off.
I mean, mood. But yeah, it's just, I'm like, I don't know. I find it kind of weird. I think I just hate French people, so I'm like, oh, there's extra French people I forgot about. Great.
And there's even more in New Brunswick too. There's some French people in New Brunswick, believe it or not.
Damn.
So there's even more. Wild, fucking wild. But
Gross.
yeah, no, Quebec is something. Beautiful province though, but yeah, it's something. Yeah, so then we get to a scene of Petrovsky and Carrie, and they're in their apartment, like, about to go out, and Petrovsky's kind of just like, oh, are you coming? And she's like, oh, just a sec, I have to finish getting ready. And he's like, no, I mean, like, are you coming to Paris? And she's like, I mean, I'm still undecided. Like, that's a huge call to make, and I don't know, like, are you sure that you don't want to just, like, maybe do long distance, or, like, you visit me here, I'll visit you there. And he's like, I'm done with this place. Like I've been here for a few years. Fuck New York. He basically straight up says no to long distance. Despite the fact that he has the money to deal with long distance. Like, one of the hardest thing about long distance relationships is financing visiting each other and stuff like that. Like, that's really hard to do, but obviously that's not a problem for him.
He just says no heart emoji.
He does. That's exactly what he does.
Because, yeah, he could afford to do that. It's not like they have kids. Like, obviously he has his daughter, but, like, it's not like they have kids together. Like, I don't know. It's definitely possible to do long distance.
Yeah, and, like, the travel is not great, but, like, New York to France isn't nearly as bad as, like, other places in the US to France. It's basically as good as it gets for, like, being in America and trying to travel to Paris. But it's a very, like, black and white situation for him. So
he basically gives her an ultimatum and says, no, like, either you move to Paris with me or we break up.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, great that this is just on the table now as of, like, 2 days ago. Great. So she has to figure it out.
I get, like, even being able to do long distance, but not necessarily wanting to.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. This is really, it doesn't seem like it's much of her decision. It's just, like, he's decided what he wants.
Yeah, what he's basically saying is Paris is more important to me than you are. Like,
yeah,
that's literally, like, what it is, because whether or not she's coming, he's going. It's not a matter of, can we do a compromise here? I'm tired of New York. I kind of want to be back in Europe again. There's no compromise. It's literally just, yeah, I care more about this than I care about our relationship, which, that sucks. Like, I don't know.
I'm not. Yeah, it fucking sucks. But they still need to go to this fucking party, and yeah. So they go, and his friend that they introduced to Enid is fucking Wallace Shawn.
Yeah, it's really good.
Hello, King.
Yeah. And, like, Enid sees him, and she's just, like, really disappointed that he didn't have any, like, hot artist friends. And when he's, like, not right there, like, Enid whispers to Carrie, he's a hobbit. And, like, Carrie's like, well, he's really kind, and he's really smart. Like, give him a chance.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of mean.
Yeah, like, you asked her to set you up. Like, look, you don't
set up on a blind date.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, like, the type of person you're attracted to, but that doesn't mean that they exist.
Yeah, like, he only knows so many people in New York, probably, like,
yeah.
And of the ones who are gonna say yes to go to this party for someone they don't know at all, it's just kind of like, I don't know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, he works at Bon Appetit.
Does he? Is that what he says?
They say he works at Bon Appetit,
Oh my god. I mean, I guess this is just the Condé Nast episode.
Yeah, this is sponsored by Condé Nast. But I was like, wow, I wonder if he was involved in the racism scandal in this universe.
Yeah, good question. Like, in this universe, did that happen still? Almost certainly, yeah. Well, it's hard for it to happen in this universe because there's no black people and there's no, like, people of color in this universe. So, like, how could it happen?
Yeah, the demographics in New York are, like, 0.0001% black.
Yeah.
As we all know, 0.1% Latino, 0.00, like, everyone is white, but also I don't want to believe that Wallace Shawn could be racist. So
yeah, I don't want to either. So
no,
we just won't.
Yeah, but he's nice. He's a pleasant person anyway.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, but I don't know. She's not interested because he's not sexy.
Yeah. This is where we meet Lexi.
Mm-hmm. Also, side note, bold of her to be like, he's a hobbit, when I'm pretty sure Mikhail Baryshnikov is like 5'5".
Yeah, like they're not that far off from each other. But
no,
I guess
like,
Mikhail Baryshnikov is like a little bit more like traditionally handsome, I guess. But like, yeah, I don't know. It makes no sense. Also, hobbits fucking
he's
rules,
not,
so like fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. But he's not tall. Anyway. So also Enid and Carrie, I guess, swap dates at this party. Like, she's talking the whole night to Wallace Shawn, and Enid is like straight up just flirting with Petrovsky, like in front of Carrie's face.
Yeah, it's very awkward. Like, they're sitting very close on the couch and he's just like being a normal person kind of, and she's just like kind of close to him and like very much flirting, and Carrie goes over to be like, hello? And like he gets up to do something and she's like, what are you doing? Like, Enid's kind of just like, oh, why can't I have him? And Carrie's like, because he's dating me. Like,
yeah.
hello?
It's just like, why can't I have a man like him? And Carrie's just like, because he's my boyfriend.
Yeah. It is very funny that this is happening. And yeah, like before that happens, we get the part where Lexi just yells at Carrie across the room. Like, this character we've never met before, but who's apparently like known Carrie for years. And she's just like, Carrie Bradshaw! And just drops F-bombs and just yelling across the whole party, like clearly being way less classy than everyone else there. And it's good shit.
This is going to be me in 20 years.
Oh, she's so good. Matt thought this was Kirstie Alley, and I'm like, they kind of look similar, I guess, but it's very much not Kirstie Alley. Also, I found out recently that Kirstie Alley is like a massive Trump supporter, and I was like, that's so disappointing.
She's a Scientologist as well, I will have you know.
She's got some bad takes, so I'm happy it's not her.
No, she's not great. No, instead of it's similar looking, it's Kristen Johnson, who was in Third Rock from the Sun. That's what I always think of her from. And also Austin Powers, so... Yeah,
that's kind of more what I know her from. 'Cause I never really watched much Third Rock from the Sun, but,
I watched it, but, like, don't remember much of it. Like, all I remember is the cast, and that they were aliens.
Yeah, all I really remember is that John Lithgow's in it, but it's one of the things where he's actually, like, normal and nice. Well, like, not normal, but, like, my main association with John Lithgow is Dexter, and so, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the show where he doesn't kill people, so.
Yeah, John Lithgow's kind of scary, like.
Yeah, I mean, also Lord Farquaad.
That's true. Fuck, yeah, talk about hobbits.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's who she is, and she's kind of just like, oh, I'll catch up with you after I have a smoke, and she like goes upstairs to like, I guess, go to the roof probably to have a smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a bit we go back to Miranda and Steve, and this is where Miranda like actually finally admits that like, no, she doesn't like Petrovsky. She's just like, he's so pretentious, and just like, I've always thought he was pretentious, and like, Carrie just acts different around him. Like, she never laughs at anyone's jokes. She's just like, it's really frustrating. And Steve's just like, Miranda, no offense, but you never think anyone's good enough for you and your friends. And Miranda's like, fuck off.
Yeah, she's
Like, clearly her standards are low enough because she's with Steve, so, but.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's like, he says, you didn't like me, but I knew I'd wear you down. She's just like, okay. But he also is like actually nice, and he says, look, I know you're worried about Carrie, but everything's going to be okay. And he's still going to be here for her, and her friends are still going to be there. Like, he can tell that Miranda is just freaking out. She's upset because her friend is going to leave. Like, that's the real reason.
Oh yeah, like it's definitely like, if it was just Petrovsky, it like that would have come up already because she's been dating him for a long enough time. But like, clearly that's not the issue because it's the issue that she's moving away, and I'd be kind of sad too. Like, when if your friend moves away to like a different continent over like a guy that you might not really care about that much, who like you don't really think is that good for her, who you just barely know, and like you just have to say goodbye to one of your best friends. Like, that's kind of hard, but
yeah,
I do feel like maybe she doesn't need to quite handle it quite this way directly to Carrie, like so directly and bluntly as she will later in this episode, but like, I get it. I get where she's coming from.
Yeah. I don't know. Not gonna lie, if my guy had asked me to move to New York with him, I would have been like, bye, cunts. And abandoned all my friends. I'd be like,
so
bye.
valid. Yeah.
Whatever. Like, I don't know. But also, like, I don't know. I liked him, and like, if he had enough money, just me to just support me while I sit around looking pretty.
That'd be
Absolutely
the dream.
gone.
Just like, you don't have to work anymore. Just like, sick. I get to be in this new city. At least if you move to America, you could like meet other people who speak the same language as you, like as your first language, and it'd be a bit easier. But yeah. So after that, we go back to the party, and then Carrie goes up to the bathroom upstairs, and that's where Lexi's doing coke. And this is where Carrie's like, people still do coke.
I don't do coke anymore. Like, Carrie doesn't even smoke anymore.
This is such a weird question to ask someone. Like, if I came into a bathroom and someone was doing coke, I'd just be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'll let you do your thing. But she's just like, people still do that? Just kind of rude.
So obnoxiously like, people still do coke. Like, coke is for losers. Like, what are you talking about?
Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you, like, that's such a rude question to ask, but whatever.
Yeah, her nose is already fucking, the dollar bill is already up her nose. Like, I don't know, be nice.
Yeah, you're like, this is just someone that you know that you're catching up with. It's not like this person's been rude to you. And she does offer some to Carrie, and Carrie's like, no, I'm okay. And then Lexi's like, thank God you're here. Like, we're the only single people in this thing of couples. And Carrie's like, oh, I mean, well, actually, I'm here with a man. And Lexi's just like, fuck you. She leaves.
She just
very
like
good.
laughs. It's so funny.
Yeah.
She's like, fuck you.
It's very good. It does kind of sound like the kind of thing that like Carrie and her friends would say to each other if like one of them was like, I don't know, like really settling down, and it's kind of like, it sounds kind of like something Samantha would say, I think.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck you. You're also getting married. Great. But yeah, Lexi also says this party is bullshit, and she's, it's probably right. It does seem kind of like bullshit.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look fun, but
It looks so boring. It's just people like, it's just like old people. No offense to old people, but it's old people being like, oh, well, I actually come from a long line of whatever, and talk about like art and being annoying and pretentious. Like, it's not like fun art parties with like young artists. I feel like those parties, there is a lot of cocaine, there's a lot of drugs. People are still being pretentious, but there's drugs. This one,
Yeah.
there's canapes. So it's like, all right, well, which one's going to be more fun?
Yeah.
Probably.
I also just don't care for successful people being really pretentious.
No.
It's kind of like, fuck you. Like, you already have a bunch of money and shit. Like, don't try to make it seem like your art is so much more valuable than like someone else's just because you're like, people know you. Like, fuck off. I don't know.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, maybe it's just like my taste. Art from like fucking spoiled little rich kids is just automatically trash. It's just automatically shit. Like, and I'm talking all art, not just like paintings.
Yeah.
Like, it's automatically kind of shit, and you need to prove me wrong. I'm just gonna assume it's bad because, like, you know.
Well, you like just grew up with everything, so it's kind of like I don't care. Like, I was watching a video about why rent sucks the other day, and so much of it is just like all of these people have like supportive families who could like pay for them if they just like didn't have any money and were actually poor and like actually needed to live on the street. But they're all just rich kids who are like, no one appreciates me enough. And I was like, wow, I'm so happy I've never seen this movie. I'd be so mad all the time.
Also, well, like, yeah, like, you're not going to lose anything if you, like, don't make it as an artist. You're not going to lose anything. You can just go back and work at daddy's law firm.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's not really that much consequence. Like, there's a lot of privilege in being the kind of person who has parents who will back you up if you happen to fail at something, and that you can kind of have the ability to just pursue the stuff you want to do. So, but yeah. But yeah, anyway.
Rant over.
Yeah, rant over. Then we go to a really quick scene of Charlotte's like scrubbing the floors because she's like, someone can't keep her bladder in when she's pregnant. And she's like cleaning up piss, and Harry's just like, Charlotte, Elizabeth Taylor's giving birth in the bathtub.
Yeah, which, I mean, good job they got it in the bathtub. Saves a lot of cleaning to be had in the future. But she's giving birth, and Charlotte's automatically, like, she doesn't care anymore. She's like, oh, mummy's coming. And
yeah, she's now excited.
Yeah, she's super excited. I mean, puppies. Like, if you're not excited for puppies.
They're so cute, too, when we see them. Oh, I love them. Yeah, and then we go to the party again.
Yeah, then we go to the party. So this, I want to be in the room where it happens.
Yeah. Is that Hamilton?
This is the room where it happens. I don't give a shit about signing any fucking papers. This is the room where it happens.
Yeah, it is. There's just the party's going on like normal, and Carrie and Petrovsky are talking about Paris, and he's like, I want you every day. I know you have a life in New York, but like, who do you want to come home to every night? Like an empty apartment or coming home to me? And just, they're talking, and then Lexi comes by and she's like, wanna smoke, Carrie? And Carrie's like, oh, I don't smoke anymore. And again, Lexi's just like, fuck you.
Yeah. But she's going around asking everyone for like a lighter, and she's just like, oh, fuck it. She finds one and she goes to the window to smoke and opens it. And it's one of those like,
Ina's like,
it's like a floor to ceiling window, and yeah, Ina's like, you can't smoke in here, but also it's literally snowing, so she's like, I'm not gonna go outside, like, fuck you. Yeah.
So she smokes at the window. Okay. But yeah, like you said, floor to ceiling window, so she cracks it open, and this whole time she's just like, she's really upset that she's like, what do you mean you can't smoke in here anymore? Like, this is New York. It's not fun anymore. Like, everything used to be so fun and great in New York, and now it's just blah, it sucks, and like, New York is over.
She says New York is dead. New York is dead. And everyone is just staring at her. She's giving this monologue.
Yeah, and it's like...
monologue.
It's like a little on the nose for the theme of the episode of Carrie being like, should I leave New York? But yeah, she's fully just like... And then doesn't she say, like, I'm so bored, I wish I was dead? or something.
She says, I'm so bored I could die.
Yeah. And then
trips on her stiletto, like it buckles under her foot, and she tries to grab the curtain and falls clean out the window. And this is the thing. It's a great moment because it's just so... Yeah. For the show, it's so unexpected. Like, no one has died on screen. Twists and turns. But also...
It's HBO, baby.
HBO,
anyone can
baby. Die. But, like, it's so funny in a dark comedy way. Like, her speech is so funny. And the way she dies right after saying, I'm so bored I could die, with a cigarette in her hand and a martini glass. Like,
yeah.
Go off a bit.
And, like, she kills it as an actress to me. Like, it's just really, it's such a classic moment of this show. And yeah, it's very much like, am I supposed to be laughing or am I supposed to be shocked? Or, like, you don't really know how you're supposed to feel when it happens. Because, like, this isn't a show that usually has characters die on it. Especially not in such a shocking way of, like, falls out the window of a building in New York City.
Yeah. And this window seems like a massive safety concern because, like, fully in my flat, like, I have a floor to ceiling window in my flat, because it's a new build, but, like, the bottom half of it doesn't open, and it only opens so wide that, like, a person can't really fit through it. So
yeah, that seems reasonable.
It's not, you know, for, like, accidentally I couldn't just, like, trip and fall out of it. And it opens in a certain way so you can't fall out of it. As, you know, architects do. But, like, I will forgive this just for the drama of it all. For drama.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine with it. And whatever, like, maybe building planners were less good at it 20 years ago than they are now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a lot. And then we cut to, like, this montage of how, like, New York gets covered in snow. It's wintertime, like, snow in the park, snow everywhere. And we see a newspaper that says, "Party's over!" with an exclamation mark. And then there's another one that says, "Splat!" the title of the episode. And then we also see the puppies, and they're so cute. They don't look anything like Elizabeth Taylor, which makes sense, but they're very cute. And then we get to the funeral. So the girls are, like, outside the funeral chapel or whatever the fuck it is, and they're just, like, talking a bit about death. And Carrie tells the girls that she's decided she is going to Paris. She quit her job. And Natalie's rap voice, no more questions. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess she comes to the realization after, obviously, horrifically seeing her friend die right in front of her, which, like, yeah. And the idea that life is short and she doesn't want to be Lexi. Like, she doesn't want to be the single woman in her 40s who just parties all the time and smokes and drinks and embarrasses herself and then dies alone. Which, okay, fair enough.
I don't know why it's not, like, a New York specific problem.
No.
But...
like, you could just break up with him and then, like, boom. Like, yeah, that's not a New York specific problem. Like, I don't know, that can happen to anyone.
Yeah. But, like, the article I linked about the, where they interviewed, like, the show creators or whatever about why they did this episode was largely because they really needed a push for Carrie to, like, for it to be believable for her to say yes to leaving New York. And it was really just, like, we needed someone to kind of make her realize maybe, like, New York isn't what she wants to be doing in the next, like, 5 to 10 years of her life, and maybe moving on is okay for her to do. It's just kind of, like, a really weird way to show it.
Yeah.
But I guess that makes sense. So that's why it's so late in the show that this happens.
Well, we can't have a character arc, because that would be too difficult. So it needs to happen immediately.
God, truly. Like, you think that they could have, like, maybe slowly built up over time, that Carrie was like, I love New York City and it's like always going to be important to me, but I feel like I need something different in my life. Like, that's a totally reasonable thing to say. Like, I could, empathize with that. Like, I really loved the place where I grew up, and I was like, I don't want to live here my whole life though. I do want to move somewhere else. Just, I don't know, try something different. But yeah, that's, I guess, the last straw. That she already did seem like she was very on the fence about it. Like, it wasn't like she was an automatic, no, I'm not leaving until that happened. It was just kind of like the last push, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would, I like London, but I would also, leave if the right circumstances came about. And I feel like maybe if they had shown a bit more of the rush and her having, a relationship, it would be believable. They're like, oh, she's finally with a guy who respects her and who she loves, and it makes sense that that's been her driving force for the entire show. So it's completely believable that she would give up a lot to be with someone that made her happy.
Yeah, it would be a lot more believable. I mean, I moved to Ontario. It wasn't because Matt lived here. It was because I got a job here.
Yeah.
But I did still move back to Ontario, and it was my number one choice for where to move after I finished grad school was back to Ontario again because Matt lived here. So it's kind of a little bit of both. Yeah. But I do get that, being well, this is a really important person to me. So, doing something that makes it easier for us to be together makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So I can empathize with that.
Yeah, and the rest of the girls have kind of moved on with their lives, so it's I don't know, it makes perfect sense. They didn't really need to do that. They could just had better written characters, but I digress.
They couldn't have done that, let's be real. No. So yeah, they do the funeral. Oh, and by the way, Enid shows up with the guy from the party. So I guess they did somewhat hit it off after that. They bonded after.
I think it's just that she grabbed the nearest available man because she watched someone die.
Yeah, that's very possible. She did watch someone die, basically in her own apartment, which is kind of fucked up. Or not in the apartment, but from her apartment.
I mean, yeah, she did die, I don't know, because of her apartment. But she fell from her fucking window, and she has to now walk past her own window in her house and be like, someone fucking died.
Think about that
there.
every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
It is.
Many thoughts.
Yeah. So then the funeral ends, and Miranda and Carrie are walking in the snow after, and Miranda's just I can't believe you quit your job. You can't write your paper in Paris? And, I mean, Carrie does make kind of a good point, because this whole episode I was why don't you just do your column from wherever? You don't have to be in New York, but,
yeah.
Part of the argument is that they don't exactly, the whole idea of the paper is that New York girl, New York paper, not, American girl in Paris, which I guess.
Yeah, also, do you see the creators of Sex and the City? They're releasing a show which is about an American girl who moves to Paris, and I'm pretty sure she works for a fashion magazine.
Why?
I know. It's called Emily in Paris. It looks very it's just what Sex and the City season 7 could have been, I guess.
Paris fucking blows. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate that. I don't like that at all.
No. But Carrie could also write another book, or write a book. She didn't really write the last one. It's just a collection of her articles. But she could write a book. She's a published author. She
could continue working for Vogue. She could do that.
Or she could be do you know anyone at Vogue Paris who'd be interested?
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a really interesting thing for her to do. But yeah, then, okay, this part, I really agreed with Carrie over Miranda, and I kind of wanted to slap Miranda at this one specific part, because Miranda's I don't know, Carrie, you can't just give up your column. Your column is you. And Carrie is that is not me. That is my job. And I was go off. You are not defined by the labor that you do.
Carrie the
anti-capitalist
communist
queen. Yes.
Carrie the communist.
it's your job is just something you do and hopefully you like it, but like that is not her. Like her column is not her. Like shut up, Miranda. Fuck you. One
It's
of the
not
only
like she's,
times
like-
where I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would have made sense if Miranda was like, so you're just not gonna write, like you love writing. Like that's you, right? That's
Yeah.
something you love doing. And it's something that is important to you. That makes sense. But she's like, no, your job is the thing that defines you. Like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's not it.
It is a very Miranda thing to say, which is one of the things about Miranda that I'm like, okay, this is where we stop relating.
Yeah.
Like, even if I do enjoy my job, it's definitely not what makes me who I am. But okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then Miranda just, she gets like upset. She's like, I think you're making a huge mistake. And Carrie's like, can you just admit that you don't like Petrovsky and that that's the issue? And Miranda's like, fine, I don't like him. It's just straight up like, yeah, I don't like your boyfriend.
Yeah, your boyfriend kind of sucks. That's it. Well, no, it's because she doesn't want her to. Also, was anyone else getting a bit of a gay vibe? This very much felt like two like sapphics who were secretly in love with each other but didn't want to say it.
Where Miranda's like, it's not that I hate him, it's that I love you. And she even does say, Carrie, you know I love you, before she leaves. Which, like, obviously you can say as friends, and I encourage people to say it as friends. But, like, I do like to think about lesbians, so, like, that would be nice.
It felt a bit gay. Like, it kind of, like, the words unsaid, you know, they were, maybe it was, I don't want to say it was just Cynthia Nixon. I know she's queer and everything. And I don't want to say it was just her, but, like, the way she was playing it, it was like she wanted to tell Carrie that she loved her. I was feeling the vibes.
Yeah? I could buy that. Yeah? I could buy that for sure.
Also, I think she's the better actress, but...
Oh, she is. Yeah, she for sure is.
She is.
But, like, that's... Yeah. Like, no shade to Sarah Jessica Parker, but, like, she's fine, but she's... I don't think she's ever had a moment in the series where I've been like, God damn. Whereas all the three other actresses, I've been like, yeah, there have been scenes in the show where, like, you've genuinely impressed me. Whereas Sarah Jessica Parker is like, I'm just thinking of, like, the episode where she's doing the tears over Big's heart surgery, and I'm just like, I'm gonna kill you. Like Carrie, not Sarah Jessica Parker, but
no, I still like
not
Sarah
believable.
Jessica Parker.
She's fine. It's like, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. She's, her husband did, like, kill someone, though.
This is true. Wasn't she in the car at the same time?
No,
Like-
that was Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing.
Oh. Like a funny Ferris Bueller murder. I mean, it was both of them. But
yeah, they played
no, it
brother and
wasn't
sister
even
in
murder.
Ferris
It was
Bueller,
just
which is kind of
yeah,
gross.
it wasn't murder. It was like manslaughter, I guess. But anyway,
Ferris Bueller murder.
But like, it was Matthew Broderick. So
I'm just
imagine going to bed every night knowing that your husband has killed a person. Like, I mean, I guess that's just what it's like to be an army wife. But like, I don't know. It's fucked up.
That's fucked up. I don't think I've ever slept with anyone that's killed someone. From what I know.
I don't think I have either. And it just makes me think of that one Tumblr post that's like, sometimes I wonder if I'm the only person on Neopets who's ever killed another person. It's good. It's very funny to me. But anyway, the Carrie and Miranda basically just have a fight, and Carrie kind of storms off like, it's not your life. It doesn't matter what I do. You're not the one who's going to be living with him. So, you know, that's that on that. And Miranda just says, Carrie, you know I love you. But then Carrie walks away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, I don't want your life. Was that it in Varsity Blues?
I haven't seen Varsity Blues, but maybe.
Anyway, I don't know. That's it. Well, kind of.
Yeah. kind of, there's like one last scene of like a completely empty Central Park. Like there's no people here other than Carrie and the Russian. They're riding like this horse-drawn carriage through the snow.
This was
really
so
fast.
weird.
Yeah. Weird way to end an episode.
It was so weird because like it looks fake. Like they're not on like a carriage, they're on a sled. Like they're on a sled like they're in Lapland. And like Carrie has these like earmuffs on. It's so weird. It's so weird. And it's
it's like
it's like
carriage. Like,
yeah, it's like Frozen. It's like at the end. It's like in Frozen. Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure like I've been on a like horse censored word drawn carriage before because they're really popular in Victoria. I don't think they're supposed to go that fast. There's like that. It's like cantering through Central Park with them on it, and I'm like, this seems a little ridiculous. You're supposed to just be going at like a nice light pace, aren't you? But anyway, both of them to end the episode with a fucking shot of a horse is traumatic to me, and I'm happy that there's 2 more episodes left to cleanse my palate.
Yeah, I guess. But penultimate episode next week.
Yup, it's part 1 of the 2-part finale next week. And shows never really had like 2-part season or series finales for a long time. And then it became like so popular in the 2000s. Like I think like every season finale of Lost was like a 2 or even like a 3-parter finale. And I'm like, this is so much. Like you can just do 1 episode finale. The second last episode can just be like the second last episode. But
well, it was like when all those like teen movies started doing like 2-part movies, like 2-part finale of their series because of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What
like
was that?
I get it. For some reason, like for some series, I get it. But like for some of them, they really didn't need to do it. But
Harry Potter, it made sense.
They needed to split that into 2. Like, it was just too much plot to do in 1 movie. But, other stuff. The Hobbit is 3 movies. That's fucking bullshit. I'm gonna fucking kill Peter Jackson with my bare hands. Not a threat.
Just a fact.
Just a fact. Like, fuck. Those movies sucked ass, and I love Lord of the Rings. Like, Jesus Christ, 3 movies? Like, anyway, I'm not going to get riled up about this, but I hate them. And it's not even just because of Martin Freeman, who fucking sucks, but anyway. Rankings?
It's this hard one because like half of them don't have plots. Like it's just Carrie. It's the Carrie show. So like Samantha doesn't have anything to do. Neither does Miranda. Charlotte has the dog, and then it's just Carrie. It's just Carrie. So my number 1 is Lexi Featherston. Everyone else barely gets a pass.
Yeah, she's definitely the top of the. She's like the star of this episode. She's the star of this season. Like genuinely, just the like. Remember how this season had Burger in it? Like,
yeah,
the fuck. Anyway. She is definitely really good. Highlight of the season. Really great episode. Real great character. I feel like I want to put Samantha at the top of like the 4 girls. Because she doesn't do anything. Wigs. Yeah, the wigs. She doesn't do anything like upsetting. And all she does is encourage Carrie. Like she's kind of just like, obviously I'm sad to see you move away. Like you're one of my best friends. Like that's so sad. But like, you do you. Make sure that you do it on your own terms and not just his, and I'll support you. Like, she's just a good friend throughout it. Like, I just think she's the top. Then, fuck. Like, who cares about most of these characters? I feel like, Charlotte maybe second, because she's like... gives birth. She doesn't give birth. She delivers the puppies and she holds the puppies and I got to see the puppies and so that was nice. And she seems kind of supportive of Carrie. And then maybe Carrie herself. I hated when she was like, why are you doing coke? But I did like when she said communism marks forever. To Miranda. So she's 3rd, and then Miranda is 4th. Like, I don't even think she was fully wrong. Like, she was somewhat valid, but I just don't care. I just don't. I can't.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I don't know. It's hard to care, but Samantha is the top, really.
Yeah, it's really the only character who I feel like kind of stood out as anything, because, like, half of the episode for Charlotte was just her being like, why is my dog fat? And it's like, who cares? You're a bad pet owner. You shouldn't have a pet, probably. But anyway, yeah. Excited to see our rankings for the final two. I guess there's also the movies too, but like,
oh yeah,
I'm so tempted to go back and look at all our rankings for the whole show and like try to tally them and see like overall what the rankings were for everyone.
I mean, we probably should have, I feel like we got about halfway through and we were like, oh, we should have maybe done that. Now, I mean, more power to you if you do that. I would absolutely not want to.
I would absolutely... Yeah, like you would have to jump to the end of every episode and then just try to pinpoint the moment where we finish talking about the actual episode. It would be kind of annoying, but not terrible, I guess. But there are like 90 something episodes now, so who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
we have Tumblr questions.
We do.
If you want to send us a question for our season finale part, it's An American Girl in Paris, part 1. I can't remember if it's masculine or feminine. If you want to send us a question for part 1 of the series finale, send it to us at citygirlsmakedo.tumblr.com/ask. Our first question for today is from Boigameister on Tumblr, friend of the show, guest of the show, Matt Berger, who is saying not to relate to make you relate to Carrie or anything, but when is a time you just said fuck it and left?
When I dropped out of school.
Oh, fuck. Nice. I love
just
it.
Like, you know that my favorite video of the girl auditioning for America's Next Top Model, and she's like, you know, I just don't think it's right for me. Like, I can't take the pressure of it. And then clops out. That's me with almost anything. I'm just like, I can't take the pressure of it. I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah? I came so close to dropping out of grad school, like ridiculously close to dropping out of grad school, and I almost said fuck it and left, but I didn't. And like part of me is like, God, I could have just said fuck it and left. But then part of me is like, I guess I do have a lot of the stuff I have now because I didn't leave.
Yeah.
But, like, fuck, grad school fucking sucked. I hated it so much. I was so depressed. I should have dropped out. I don't know about just, like, saying fuck it and left, because I do feel like anytime I've left a situation, I have thought so hard about it for so long before making that decision. Like breaking up with my last boyfriend, for example, was something I thought about doing for like 5+ years before doing it.
Oof.
So I don't know if it's exactly fuck it and leave, because that kind of implies that it's like rip the Band-Aid off and just do it. But it's a good question.
Yeah, I either drastically overthink things or just like act purely on impulse, which is fun. There is a reason my character has been described as emotionally unstable. But, like, I remember I had a job once where, like, they would keep me, like, 2 hours. I was on the closing shift, and they'd keep me, like, twice. They kept me 2 hours later to, like, clean up, even though... And one time I was, like, crying, and I felt ill and, like, really needed to go home and felt sick. And they still made me stay. And I was just like, I just woke up one day and I was like, yeah, I'm not going. Just like, I'm not going.
Good. I love that. Fuck you.
Yeah. I was like, fuck no, I'm not going. Like, I don't need to do this. You guys are dicks. And if it fucks you over, if it fucks over your business for me not to come, I don't care. like, good.
Yeah, like, that seems like a you problem. Maybe you should have figured that shit out beforehand. Maybe every business should figure that out beforehand. They're like, we're so short-staffed. If one person doesn't come in, everything is ruined. And it's like, yeah, that could be solved real easily, but okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have any really massive fuck-off moments, but yeah, I can relate to Carrie just kind of fucking off and being like, I'm ready for something new. So, our other question is from a friend and guest of the show, Summer, aka Kitty Princess on Tumblr, who has asked, what is the wildest distance to reward ratio you've traveled for something? So, for example, driving 3 hours just for Taco Bell. I love how, like, that's such a... I feel like that's such an American or North American thing to do. Because obviously, like, you're not gonna... Like, you wouldn't drive, like, 3 hours to get Taco Bell. But, like...
No, there's not... I mean, I will say there are not a lot of Taco Bells in the UK. But weirdly enough, there is one, like, 10 minutes from my house.
Oh, wild. I've never been to Taco Bell in my life, and I'm 29.
Me neither. And I'm kind of considering, like, going, or at least getting delivery.
Yeah, like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like everyone being, like, complaining about them getting rid of potatoes means I should probably try the potatoes before they leave, if they haven't already. And, like, everyone talks about, like, the Baja Blast, and I'm like, maybe I should try this. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even think they do Baja Blast. But I'm considering walking the 10 minutes to go to Taco Bell. But, like, I don't know. I tell me if it's worth it. It's probably not.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I feel like it is a very American thing. Like, Americans, at least, like, outside of the like, major cities, are just like, I guess I'll, like, travel fucking 5 hours and still be in the same fucking state. Like, what?
Yeah. It is very funny.
Because I thought about this question, and I was like, oh, well, we went to Belgium for a day.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of, like, yeah, I left the country. So yeah, I guess that was kind of and it was on a school trip, and we went to, like, look at World War One, like, grave sites, like, World War One cemeteries, which obviously was very poignant and stuff. But it was kind of like, okay, if we're in a different country, can we experience some culture? No.
Yeah, I will say I have probably a lot more things to say about this question than you do because of the North American thing. Because I feel like I've done a lot of travel for low reward shit before. Like, obviously, I've also done a lot of travel for, like, high reward shit before. Like, the number of times I've driven to Sudbury to visit Matt back when he didn't live with me, I'm not like, oh, that wasn't, like, a low reward thing. So, like, those were good trips of, like, 4.5 hour drives each way for something I liked. Those were good. But in terms of the bad things, I think the number one is that I flew direct from Vancouver to Paris once. So that was extremely low reward because I ended up in Paris, and that was like a 9-hour flight or something like that. I don't remember. It was fucking long and bad. So that's up there. There's another one where I one time with friends, like, we drove from Victoria up island, like on Vancouver Island, up to, like, someone's campsite, and it was like an 1.5-hour drive away one time, just like out of nowhere. And I was so pissed off because I had to work the next day at 5 a.m, and we didn't get home until like 2 a.m, and I was like, I'm not having fun at all. I'm just gonna be a pissy bitch about this the whole time. So I was pissed off about that. I have taken a lot of buses from Ottawa to Montreal to visit a terrible person. So extremely, extremely low reward, negative reward for that amount of time put in, and the terrible Greyhound bus rides I had to deal with for that. Yeah, I've also been to Florida before. So that was extremely low reward because it was Florida.
I've been to Florida before, but I was 6 and we went to the like theme park. So I had fun.
Yeah. Well, we did do that, but it was also just like a terrible experience of like, I had my first kiss there, but it was with this disgusting boy from West Virginia that I didn't know. And like, it was a trip. And Florida is disgusting. So like very low reward in that case. I also like, said ex-boyfriend who I visited in Montreal a lot. I one time flew from Victoria to Mississauga to visit him working there over the summer and stayed there for like a week, and it fucking sucked. And yeah, a lot of low reward of traveling. I feel like Summer was looking for things that were more like low reward, as in like you get something that you enjoy, but it's not that exciting. But I'm like, yeah, no, these are things I've traveled the like several hours for that I was just like, that I just hated. That I didn't like doing at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say, God, once I've traveled, for some reason, London is hooked up weird where like, so where I live to get to where my parents live, which is also still in London, it would take me 2 hours or like 45 minutes in a car. Like 2 hours on a train or 45 minutes in a car, which is stupid. But I also, obviously when I was still in my parents pre-pandemic, I would travel to go get fucked. And a lot of the time, people I was dating like lived very like on the opposite side of London from me, so I would travel like 2 hours, hour and a half to go have sex with a boring man and not come. So
yeah, it'd be like that.
Yeah, I would say that was the most disappointing. I at least had fun in Belgium.
Yeah, at least you're like somewhere new, and it's kind of like, that's fun. Even if you're not coming at both of them, at least one of them you have an expectation that you should be. Yeah. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't drive 3 hours for Taco Bell, but like, I've been very close to being like, oh, what if I drove like, so for example, we were supposed to go to Minnesota last week. When I say we, I mean me, Matt, and like a couple friends. We were supposed to go to Minnesota last week to see My Chemical Romance. And I was like, months ago before it was canceled, I was like, what if we do a several hour drive to go to Emo, Ontario, which is closer to Minneapolis than it is to where we currently live? And everyone's like, no. But I'm like, but we could go to Emo, Ontario and get a picture with the sign. And they're like, no.
No.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I'd be down for it.
I have a real one that I think is easily the lowest reward to distance traveled, which is that one time when I was flying home to Victoria from Ontario, I deliberately made a layover in Edmonton in the airport, because in Edmonton, you're over the latitude line where you can catch Pachirisu in Pokemon Go. And so I deliberately added a layover to my flight so that I could be in Edmonton for a couple hours to catch this region exclusive Pokemon. And I didn't even get one because there was an event in Pokemon Go that day, so all the spawns in the game were just part of the event, and I did not see a Pachirisu. And so I stopped in the worst province for like several hours for nothing. Yeah, so that's definitely it for me.
Oh, okay. That's bad. Okay. I think that's the worst. I don't think we can top that.
Yeah, I'm so happy I remembered that for the show, because fuck, that was one of the biggest disappointments in my life. And by the way, I do have a Pachirisu now in Pokemon Go. I traded someone for it like a year ago, and its name is Gerardway, and it's a baby, and I love it. So, it's a very cute Pokemon, so it was worth it. But so that's it for our questions this week. we can do Patreon now. So if you want to donate to us on Patreon, you can at patreon.com/citygirlsmakedo. If you give us $1 a month, you can be a hay mower. You can get access to a special role in the Discord server, any bonus content. So our Mummy Mailbag, like we just did an episode a week ago for Bill and Ted Face the Music. So that's our newest one. And then we'll be doing another one in September for something yet to be determined. You also get access to the secret channel of Looker and Nanu pictures in the Discord server. So, stuff that no one else gets to see, extra cat pics and, extra pussy pics. At the $5 level, you get everything from before, but you also get a shout out on the podcast every week, and we'll read your name every week on the podcast. And, you get an even specialer role in the Discord server. And at the $10 level, you get all of that, plus you get to listen live to us if you would like to do so. So all of our $5 and up donors are Alex Schaup, Summer Geist, Jennifer Snyder, Matt Ribeiro, Jess Ialachi, and Siberian Pine Hardwood. So thank you all, and to all our other listeners as well for tuning in. And yeah, that's our Patreon.
Yay!
So if you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Age of Oddish. If you want to find me on Tumblr, you can find me at Windfall Island.
I'm on Tumblr at Dork Phoenix. I've started using it again. I'm on Twitter, Alex the Virgo. Or am I Alex the Virgo? Who fucking cares? Also started using Twitter again more, but I guess I don't. I think I'm Alex the Virgo. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Had to check that. And I'm Alex King Chuck on Instagram because I probably use that the most, but a bit more social media thingy. I don't know.
Yeah.
That made sense to me in my head. And obviously
go to our
it makes great sense. This is
It
a
does.
fucking audio medium and I can barely talk.
We are so coherent. You should go to our Noise Space host pages to find all of our social media. I think it's noisespace.xyz/host/Stephanie or /Alex. Maybe it's host plural. I always forget. Matt's at work right now, so I can't ask him. But yeah, check us out there. And you can find all the episodes we've done on other podcasts as well, and all our social media and all that shit. So yeah, and also just check out the podcast on Noise Space because there's lots of new ones and it's very exciting. And yeah, that's podcast for the week. So 2 more episodes left, but that's not the end for us. So stay tuned.
So dramatic.
It was so dramatic. I'm just saying, it's not the end.
No.
We got movies, but we also got like other shit. So
we might be planning something. Hey,
maybe planning something. So, stay tuned. Mohe everyday gamers and fuck cops.
Fuck cops, mohe every day. Kiss Keanu's girl on the
lips. Bye, gamers.
Bye.
Mwah.